And on this last video, we're just going to look at some mixed review with factoring to see if we can figure out how to factor when it's not split up nicely into groups with titles for us. So the first one, hopefully you recognize that this is a trinomial. The lead coefficient is 1, so we can use the t-chart on this one. What multiplies to positive 25 adds to negative 10, and that is negative 5 times negative 5. Now, notice that those binomials are the same. I would like you to simplify this as x minus 5 squared. Next example looks like an AC method, and it is. So what multiplies to 16 and adds to 8? Well, that would be 4 times 4 and 4 plus 4. So we can factor this one by grouping. So we've got 16x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 1. GCF for those first two terms is 4x, leaving us with 4x plus 1. Second two terms, the GCF is 1, leaving us with 4x plus 1. So we get 4x plus 1 times itself, or 4x plus 1 squared. Now there is a simple way to recognize these perfect square trinomials is what they're called that we just saw in the first two examples. But instead of confusing you with another way of thinking about factoring, the ways we already know will work. Looking at C, this does not look like something we've already seen. It's got a fourth power. However, the middle term has a squared power, which is half the power of the 4. So this actually is a t-chart method. What multiplies to 45 and adds to 14? 9 times 5. We're just going to factor it as an x squared plus 9 and x squared plus 5. Think about multiplying this back out. We would have our x to the fourth. Again, this is the check. This is not part of the solution. Plus 5x squared plus 9x squared plus 45. So those middle two terms would add to that 14x squared. You can always use the t-chart method if the middle term is half the power of the first term, and it's got to be a trinomial, 3 terms. Next one, I'm going to look for GCF first, which I see as 6. And then we have difference of squares. We have x minus 3, x plus 3. I have a GCF on this one as well. It's x. Factoring the x out of each term, we are now left with an AC method. So what multiplies to negative 30 and adds to negative 7? We saw one very similar to this, I think, in the last video. This time it's a negative 10 and a positive 3. So keeping that x as our GCF out front, I'm going to use some brackets to make this easier once we start grouping. First two terms have a GCF of 2x, leaving us with x minus 5. Second two terms have a GCF of positive 3. And we're going to factor out that x minus 5, leaving us with 2x plus 3. And your U-Try questions. Again, please make sure you come to class prepared to work on these with your group mates.